Some of the audio featured in this podcast was recorded on Zoom or on an external microphone in my dining room.
I don't understand where I fit in.
Welcome back to Friends of Dorothy and this second special, Au revoir, which of course means a goodbye. I know, sad isn't it? I'm David Rector, the show's creator. So, in this instalment, I will chart the course for the rest of the production, after I left you last with a big cliffhanger. 2 of the cast leaving for La La Land. Declan, who played Mikey, and Riley, who was William, relocated mid-2024 in the hope of having successful careers in Hollywood. I was both delighted for them and stressed to the eyeballs, as I contemplated for me how that would work, just 5 episodes in. And there's some other twists and turns that the series has faced, which have made this experience such a roller coaster. To the matter that was at hand in April of 2024, it was the last time that we would all convene in Melbourne to record. It was bittersweet, as the cast had formed a strong bond, even though they had only spent a handful of days in person together. It had been a year of Zooms and rehearsals and records. I was now faced with an immediate conundrum and had more voices in my ear, recast, write the characters out, end the show. Whomever gave me that advice is clearly not in my life anymore. No way was I going to recast. Declan Clifford as my lead had great magic within the ensemble, and he imbued my Mikey with a relish and a naughty zeal that I could only have imagined. He actually didn't even apply for that role, but for Simon and William. After Martine, who plays Viv, told me she'd worked with him on a short film and thought he would be great for the series. Martine was spot on. Declan was too good, as was Riley Nottingham as William, for me to recast just 5 episodes in. And writing them out was never gonna happen. So what did happen was thanks to the efforts and smarts of my Melbourne producer Tony Lazzaro, who suggested an LA studio and that we would source connect the two using technology so that the overseas output quality would match that of our recordings in Melbourne. The budget was thrown out of the window, as this was an expense I had not contemplated, but it was an ingenious solution in the main. Yes, there's more drama to come. Surely you don't think it's as easy as that. Real life and art, 2 very different beasts. Tony unearthed a wonderful and similarly boutique company called Real Voice LA, and we had a plan. But initially, we did not, or could not, conceive of how to do it as a simulcast, where we might gather the 2 actors in LA and the 4 in Melbourne at the same time, due to time difference and complexity. So I agreed to a separate recording for each. This proved to be a blessing and a curse. We did at one point experiment with the 2 actors in Los Angeles and 1 in Melbourne, but it was a disaster. There were echoes, there were time delays. It was just impossible to have any rhythm, any organics. So that was not going to be an option. Comedy especially, but all performance, is not made in isolation. And ensemble work, as Friends of Dorothy was, needed some organic elements to make the banter work and to give the cast stuff to bounce off, even if they couldn't really look at each other or gesture too much. There was a magic, a pulse that ran through that recording studio with 5 people around multiple microphones. They generated real heat. The organics. Adding to this change, I was already worried about how I would edit sequences that were recorded days or weeks apart without the rest of the cast to react to. So that was when my CV expanded even further, and I, out of sheer desperation, tried my hand at acting.
Episode 10, Home Invasion.
Is it just the 3 of you residing here?
No, William Woodward is at work right now.
And what does he do?
He's a public servant somewhere in the city.
How is that relevant, Officer Tremlow?
Twemlow. And it's Sergeant. And I decide what is relevant and what is not, Mr. Swenson.
Svensson, not Swenson.
And how do you three occupy yourselves?
I think that's a bit personal, Sergeant Temlow.
Twemlow? And I'm not interested in what you do for recreation. Not yet, anyway. Work. Do you have jobs?
I am a librarian. Steph is a student and part-time in retail, and Simon, Simon...
I am an entertainer and a psychic.
You didn't see the home invasion coming, did you?
I had appeared as Sergeant Twemlow on Zoom, and I played a pair of applicants that were in the first episode, Lorenzo and Fred. But I have been something of a wallflower all my life. Yeah, I know, hard to imagine, but true. I know, perhaps incompatible with my experience as a behind-the-scenes TV producer-director or as a peer support worker. But hey, in life, you either challenge yourself or stay trapped behind those limitations. But acting? That seemed a frontier I would never get to. The bookings with LA were made, the boys and I rehearsed, and it was after a little while, not immediately, that I realised who better to play all the other roles for the actors in absentia, but the writer of them, and the director who knew exactly what he wanted. I just needed to get past my stage fright and the risk of looking, or sounding, foolish in front of my cast and crew, and step up. And so I did. And what do you know? I started to enjoy it.
Episode 24, The Punchline. This is the original studio recording where I am playing Mikey. I'm an anaesthesia.
Some days I'd like to give you one. Like today. No, you mean an aesthete.
Tomato, tomato.
What are you all up to? There has been the strangest feeling lurking around these rooms.
It's Wilma. She's been here a lot lately and she's about to get it on and off.
Don't obfuscate.
I don't know how. Anywho, skating is dangerous.
I need to know. I'm going to put my foot down.
Well, do it over there. I've just tidied here.
What are you hiding from me?
Nothing, Miss Marple. I'm an open book.
You're an open shirt and shorts, mostly.
I have been insulted for the last time.
I highly doubt that. Don't tell me Viv's moving in. Is someone leaving? I'm not being usurped, am I?
That's between you and any girl you intend to play mummies and mummies with.
It's an intervention. I just know it. But on whom? Not on me. Am I being dethroned?
Again, Steph, what you do in the privacy of your boudoir is your busyness. This is the original studio recording where I am playing Steph. 26 days after. William charges about the house. Can I help at all?
Nah, I'm good, thanks. I didn't move in with much, and I haven't added much. So it's easy.
That's lovely, Riley, thank you. You've added a lot, William. I want to thank you for being the level-headed, practical one. You have been easy compared to the others.
I learned a lot, and you helped me bridge the gap between family and the big wide world.
And you got your happy ending. Literally.
Thank you, Mikey. I couldn't have done it without you. I'll pop next door to say uru to Viv.
The next day, the very last in the Friends of Dorothy house, 30 days after the party, Mikey and Steph are doing a lap of honour around the living room. The only piece of furniture remaining is the beanbag. You're not taking it with you.
I don't know. I don't think there's room.
How tiny is this upstairs flat?
I'm not a size queen. I don't carry a ruler anymore. It's cosy. Anywho, the beanbag is so 1977. Well, we weren't here for a long time, but I think we had a good time. Didn't we?
We did, Mikey. Among a litany of disasters, breakdowns, tantrums, tears, dramas, and arguments.
All you, Steph. All you.
So what are we leaving behind?
Just the beanbag.
That's not what I was intimating.
Steph, please. You're a les and I'm a puff.
Come on, face some feelings with me, Mikey.
Simon, if he taught us nothing else, led the way on that.
Well, if these walls could squawk, we wanted a safe haven, a queertopia, an inner sanctum, which is still rude, and we created it.
That we did, Michael. Through trial and error. Mostly error. We stumbled through it, you and I. Steph grabs his hand tightly. They continue to saunter. Thank you for trusting me. And in all of this.
Thank you for all the hand-holding. I mean it. An actual hand-holding. You so rarely do it.
I'm changing. I've gained so much from this experience, and from the most unlikely circumstances, I'm going to keep aspiring.
Yeah, your palms are very sweaty.
It gave Declan and Riley something to react to, and certainly challenged me, as I was listening and watching on Zoom while they were recording in LA, whilst also performing and directing the actors on the other side of the globe. Part of my brain was thinking about who I was playing, everyone but Mikey and William, but the rest of me was assessing their performances. And was it correct? Did they get the right attitude, inflection, emotion? Were they word perfect? So yes, this 60-year-old chief cook and bottle washer really stretched his little noodle to achieve all of that in tight 4-hour bookings, 2 episodes per session. And then maybe weeks later, when I gathered the other 4 in Melbourne, I played the roles of Mikey and William in their absence to give the Aussie actors the same feed lines and some character and attitude to bounce off. Previously, I had spent all my time in the control room alongside my engineer Adrian, with Tony the producer sitting at the back. Now, I was splitting my time comically between both rooms to be with the actors when required, but zipping back behind glass to listen to the performances as they were being recorded. There I could make notes, make vocal utterances in either delight or disappointment if a speech was mangled or the gag was not executed to my liking. So the sessions got altogether more daunting and more intense. But hey, the alternatives were unpalatable for me. And I was determined to make my show my way, even if it killed me, which at times it felt like it nearly did. The editing did get infinitely more complicated, with so many files and takes to wade through, but my determination and experience at the ABC somehow pushed me through it. I'm so thankful to all the mentors, trainers, colleagues, and irritants, yes, the people who gave me the proverbials, but from whom I learned so many skills that I didn't know I had until I really needed to be the one-man band this production required of me, or that I knowingly chose it to be. The ABC was a glorious institution in the 80s and the 90s, and I suspect the earlier decades. I was very fortunate to be trained in-house and got to see and hear and experience such an array of styles and forms of production. Here is an example of a scene that was recorded actually on 3 different days, weeks apart, but edited so the audience believes all the characters are together in one place.
Episode 22, Nature Nurture.
Viv just stepped in it. Need I say more?
Yes, much more. What are we talking about?
Viv asked if we were born gay or became it over time. But that is sacrosanct.
Yes, and not something to be challenged.
That's what sacrosanct is, you dingus.
I've heard the ladies down at the salon talk about it. Well, Shirley was trying to work out if her son was always that way or if something or someone made him flick the switch.
And, pray tell, what did the intelligentsia at Henrietta's Hairatorium conclude on the issue?
Oh, I've stopped going there. Her chemicals were too pongy. I go to Courtney's Cuts now. Much nicer decor too, and she throws in a lovely cup of tea.
Do we need a flock of middle-aged housefrows telling us who we are and what we are?
Can we lower the angst about this, please?
Do we need a bunch of middle-aged house...
Yes, I'm with William. The particles of discord could curdle my scented fusion. We need calm.
Well, it is a deeply sensitive issue, one that is often used in a pugilistic manner to eviscerate the status of homosexual folks, resulting in maleficence that is undeniably and unassailably immutable.
She's off. Quick, go fetch the dictionary.
I just remembered I have a casserole that needs checking. I don't want to overcook it now, do I? They're for now.
Viv leaves hastily. The other four look uncomfortable.
Well, that was just plain rude.
I know. It's not like Viv to say something so horrible.
Not her. All of you. Viv is entitled to ask a question. Whatever happened to free speech? I thought this was Australia. Look around. Oh, it is Australia. Ridgy Didge.
Somehow, we got to the end of the first season for podcast streaming, and I had kept the core cast together. My LA boys were quickly becoming more and more in demand, which was great for them, but making it harder to get them together. But we did it, and I'm appreciative to them and to the two studios, especially Tony at Big Ears and Mike at Real Voice LA, for putting up with this worrywart of a control freak creative. Okay, so the first series was completed, and it ended up being 12 episodes. But now, I had to get it out there. I knew nothing about podcast platforms, actually less than nothing, so I started from scratch. I did some research, got a little bit of help, but realised it was too big for me, given the other 17 roles that I was playing in the production process. I was dogmatically defiant that something would land by the end of 2024. Not sure why now, but there it was. After looking around for publicists or social media marketers, I began working with a wonderful woman called Sarah Ford at Bluefish Marketing in Sydney. This lady whipped me into shape. If you can imagine, me, a bossy boots of the nicest kind, who is used to giving direction and instructions to actors and to crew, suddenly finds himself with a savvy but tough taskmaster. It was another hurdle. Several hurdles. Most exacting was getting out of my own way and doing something that a former producer would tell me when I would grizzle and gripe about a problem. He would say, "Do it for the good of the show." And damn it, the old fart was correct. So I listened and learned. For the good of the show. Once I got out of the way, eventually we made great headway, and Sarah really taught me so much about brevity, going back to basics, branding, and attention to detail. It was not easy dealing with me and my prickliness at times, but also I had not been much of a social media person, so I had a lot to learn and not many followers to build on. But Sarah was very effective with her advice, her suggestions, and her instructions, which I took, and I'm thankful I did. It was still a soft launch, my choice, in late 2024, but the first 5 episodes indeed landed on these platforms as you have been listening to on the 5 Mondays in December of that year. Getting publicity was like getting blood out of a stone. And to this day, I'm still really disappointed with the queer media for not getting behind Friends of Dorothy. No one, and I mean no one, wanted to find out about this series or the group of young, attractive, vibrant and talented cast. Not to mention me. Finally, after our 3rd attempt at sending out emails and presses and offers of interviews, finally, Joy Media got in touch and said they were excited about the show and wanted to have us on. Finally, some queer media that was interested, and that was great. And Joy were very welcoming and excited. And they are the largest, most popular queer national streaming radio platform in Australia. Any publicity we got, other than that, was via our amazing cast member Martine Halliday, a seasoned performer, teacher and singer. And I managed to get a couple of interviews on community radio via my contacts. But it was a slog to get the show out there. One of my favourite stories from that launch preparation time was a complete twist of fate. Again, like something out of a drama or a comedy. I have Sarah to thank, as she drilled in me the habit of checking out other queer pages or organisations and leaving a footprint on social media. One day I was scrolling, as you do, and came across what I thought was a South Australian gay organisation called Gay SA, and I left them a Merry Christmas message on a post. Little did I know it wasn't Gay South Australia, but Gay South Africa, a community radio station on the other side of the world. I received a message that at first I thought was a scam or a joke. So cynical am I. It was from the chief executive of that radio station, wanting to know if they could air my series on their network. The husband of that executive saw my message on their post and looked to see what Friends of Dorothy was. The first episodes must have already dropped and there were promotions aplenty on socials. He loved it and he told his spouse, "Go get this for our station." So suddenly this was in front of me. South Africa. I was struggling to get people in Sydney and Brisbane or Canberra to listen, but I was being offered a weekly spot as well as a downloadable link on their network for my show, nationally in South Africa. After some ruminating and advice taking, I agreed, and the show has been an audience favourite over there virtually from day one. They get a big bump in ratings when our series is scheduled. They've not been able to get enough of it. I've been pushed and prompted for more content, which is an unexpected and bizarrely rewarding outcome. Life's weird, huh?
On Gay SA Radio Chats, we're heading to Australia to speak with David Rector, the writer and director of the exciting new audio play, Friends of Dorothy, set in the vibrant 1980s. This fantastic series premieres on Gay SA Radio this February, airing Thursdays at 10 a.m. with a repeat at 9 p.m. Join us as we dive into the creative process behind the show, meet the incredible cast, and hear all about the fun and energy that went into bringing this amazing project to life.
Gay SA Radio, where you are family.
So the first series was dropping weekly into early 2025, and South Africa started running it in February. The numbers here were slow but steady, and I was already well into Series 2, both in writing and production. I had another 10 episodes in mind and had written about half the series before we returned to the studio in January of 2025 to begin breaking the back of the season. I'd made another cast change, but my 5 central actors and characters were intact, albeit spread out all over the place with hectic schedules. One of the reasons I persisted with Friends of Dorothy into a second series, with all I've bemoaned and with all the headaches and challenges, comes back in part to the raison d'etre of the show, which is to share stories of a time before the internet, a time before social media, a time before marriage equality, and a time before being gay was legal. The first series scripts were fine, but I knew that I needed another one to really get into some personal and revealing storylines that would better represent my purpose, and felt I was becoming a better writer as I went. Again, it is my experiences, but as a storyteller, I believed in what I had to say, and felt I had the construct and elements in place to make that happen. I have been really proud of the scripts in the second series, as they are more dense, more serious, and more outrageous in equal measure, and more emotional for the characters and for me, as I know how therapeutic art can be. If you've lasted the distance, you'll have heard all about the personal growth and self-help gurus that were in vogue in the 1980s, how basic that dating could be in terms of matchmaking or advertising to meet other queer folks, a galaxy away from Grindr and Tinder and others. There was the spectre of HIV/AIDS, gay hate crimes, the shifts in feminism and gay politic overall. I tried to weave as many of these elements from my personal experience and observations to give the show more texture and context, take the action out of the house, bring in some guest actors, and really put my characters through some changes, and for some, a dark night of the soul, as they handled existential change and challenges. It has been a really healing rite of passage at this stage of my life to be able to fictionalize a little, but essentially reveal more of my own story and cultivate more compassion, not only for myself, for what I went through, but also a huge empathy for the heroes and heroines and trailblazers that paved the way for me to be who I was in the world and made it easier for those who have come after me. As my Hollywood heartthrobs got more and more popular, it got tougher to get them booked together, and even solo was tricky with my production needs and my health, which began to suffer underneath the strain. But my actors are professionals, and they stood by the process and the recordings and attended my compulsory rehearsals. I was becoming more comfortable acting, if I can call it that, but necessity was the mother of invention, and I actually began to really enjoy inhabiting the characters I had created. I noticed in Series 2, I was reveling in those opportunities to be in the studio and especially play Mikey, surely an alter ego for me. The naughty, unfiltered gay boy I always wanted to be, but don't think I had the confidence for. However, I would cringe when I received the recorded data and would need to cut out all of my performances and insert the missing links when I had them. As spirited and knowing as I was about my characters, I had no craft to back it up. I was serviceable as an actor, but hey, what a gift that has been for my personality. I'm not about to seek another career in that realm, but it has broadened my character and identity. These 3 years have given me a new appreciation of the magic that actors can generate. And it still, after 61 years of life, amazes me how performances can lead to laughter, to tears, and illumination. It's one thing to write it, direct it, edit it, etc., but the actors are the fuel for the whole project. Without them, it'd be a middle-aged gay writer-director reciting his lines to a microphone. Kinda what I'm doing here. Okay, note to self, move it along. I decided to apportion my youth, young adulthood fumblings to all the characters, but I guess primarily Mikey and Simon. I was in the early 80s very drawn to the soulful, the sensitive, the personal development outlets, to become a better person and to experience my gayness in a way that transcended encounters or quickies or affairs. I wanted to do something of purpose. And at age 19, I was the youngest ever counsellor, at that time, in 1984, to volunteer at the Gay and Lesbian Counselling Service in Sydney. It was my honour and privilege to serve then, and in later years, to return to it. But it was also a great experience, last year, to voice the role of Sebastian in Friends of Dorothy Season 2. As I feel that the world needs a warm, gentle and kind ear when the days are dark and things seem bleak. I had such people. I was that for others. And so was determined to incorporate that into the storylines, along with other situations. Hence why I chose 1984 as the year to set the action. My own experiences are littered right through those extremely cheeky episodes called Below the Belt, and even more Below the Belt. But if there's just one thing that has sustained my people, and I mean queer folk, it is humour. That trumps everything else. I've seen it, I've heard it, and felt it. And I really wanted to imbue this series with that. I hope I have. I reckon I have. I asked my core cast what the experience of working on Friends of Dorothy has been like.
Working on Friends of Dorothy for me has been an honour, really. Playing William, I've enjoyed so much. Like, he's very similar to me in a lot of ways, which I've enjoyed in his kind of very practical nature and easygoing nature, and kind of a bit of mystery to him, which I sometimes think I'm a bit mysterious. More and more as I work, I find that the people make the project for me. So David is such a beautiful person, a beautiful artist. This has been such a project of love, like a labour of love, and the people that he has brought on, all of the Friends of Dorothy, all of the wonderful cast, it's been the most amazing thing. Like, it's friends for life, right? And we've done this in person, different parts of Australia. We've done this internationally between the US and Australia. And it's just been this weird, amazing thing that's kind of been a continuity, for me at least, because the world's been pretty crazy in the last few years, and it's kind of started towards the end of COVID, and so we're on Zoom, and it's just been a very constant thing in my life. But I think we've created something really, really beautiful, and it's just been an honour to be a part of.
Being on the Friends of Dorothy project has been a wonderful experience for me in many ways. I didn't know much about this chapter in queer history at all. So firstly and foremost, it's been an education. And I've loved working on these scripts that have had such humour and such poignancy in them. I've made a great friend in David, our writer, director, producer, actor, editor. And it's really quite beautiful to be part of telling a big part of his story. Personally, this project came to me at a time where I was at a big crossroads in my life. And so it's been lovely to have a creative project to work on and to bring me back to voice acting. I'm a singing teacher during the day, but actually working as a voice actor has been a brand new way of exploring use of voice. It's challenging to find the words to describe what it's been like to be part of the Friends of Dorothy experience, given that we've been going for over 2 years now. I was delighted to be selected by David to play Viv. She's such a wonderful character. I've loved working with this ensemble. I don't get the chance to work with an ensemble mostly, so I've made some wonderful friends. We've had some wonderful experiences here in the recording studio.
It's been really special for me, honestly, getting the role of Simon and being trusted to play Simon has been an absolute privilege and been an absolute journey. Working with David, workshopping the character of Simon and learning about the queer history and culture in the 80s has been so informative and has been so rich. And God, getting to work with like phenomenal actors and a phenomenal crew, Tony, Adrian, David, Riley, Declan, Martine, Tessa, and the many, many others has just been absolutely wonderful. And I'll forever treasure this beautiful, beautiful series for the rest of my life and for the rest of my career.
I don't even know where to begin in terms of explaining what this experience has meant to me. It has been a joy, a privilege, an inspiration working with David and this entire ensemble of people who are absolutely amazing and I totally adore. I feel so, so lucky to have answered this casting call all the way back in mid-2023, and I feel even luckier that David chose me to play his Steph. It's just been an incredible honour to be part of such a brilliantly written show that manages to combine heart, soul, humour, levity, but also really go into the depths of what it means to be a human being, a friend, a confused young person, a queer person. It has been a magnificent experience, and I deeply, deeply treasure it with everything in my being, if that's not too dramatic to say. But I just want to say thank you so much, David, for entrusting me with Steph. Thank you.
If I had to sum up this experience in one word, I have to use Mikey's phrase, fabuloso. I have been playing Mikey for over 2 years now, and he's the longest character that I've ever got to live in. And maybe he will be the character I get to play for the longest period of time. So that's a very special bond. And I think what I want to reflect on this experience is the special bond that I've had with David, our wonderful director and writer. I think that he's taken all of us under his wing and he's crafted characters for us in collaboration with us. He's written to our strengths and he's just created the most beautiful experience for us. And I think what I'm now feeling in this moment is immense pride in you, happiness for you, and I know how hard you've worked, and I hope you feel so proud of yourself of what you've brought into life. This is all here because of you, and you have assembled such a truly beautiful group of people, which I think speaks to you. And I'm really sad to leave this character behind, and I don't want to say goodbye because they live on within you, and we're blessed with having the episodes for eternity. And maybe we'll revisit the Friends of Dorothy household in a different way down the line, but I'm so thankful to have played Mikey, and thank you, David, and thank you to all the Friends of Dorothy.
So it is time to say farewell. As they say in the classics, not goodbye, but au revoir. It has been a life-changing experience to bring something to fruition like this and to see it right through. I'm proud of my own self-determination and sheer bloody-mindedness to complete it. I most want to thank you, the audience, my listeners, people who know me and who have supported the project. I wanted to give something back to the queer community in the hope of unifying it, bringing a bit of joy and levity that feels much needed in the world right now. My thanks to the cast, even those that I let go of or who let go of the production, all the amazing guest actors who brought their individual spirit and craft to the show. But there's 3 people I want to single out. Barry Michael, whose beautiful songs have been heard in the series. Barry is the most generous, genuine and kind fella I've ever met. He is a singer, songwriter, musician, producer and all-round good guy. I approached Barry a few years back with another project, asking if I could use his song, I Don't Understand, and he was unconditional. A few years later I got back in touch, wanting to use that hit and another of his gems for Friends of Dorothy. Again, he was unconditional and allowed me to utilise his songs for the opening and closing music and credits. His exquisite song, Belong, has been used for the ending of all the episodes in Season 2. And whilst it wasn't written for this, it could have been. So perfect it felt for me. And I'm thrilled that once again, Barry is receiving attention and royalties for his songs, all over the world. Thank you, Barry, for your open heart and mind, and for being such a good friend of these Friends of Dorothy's. Tony Lazzaro, the producer at the Melbourne studio, Big Ears Audio. I literally couldn't have made this show without you. You are a beacon of positivity, problem solving, and a soother of ruffled feathers. Mine. Without your proactivity and nous, we would not have anything beyond the first 5 episodes. We have 25. So thank you. And finally, I know I've made a friend for life with several cast members, but with this lady, an absolutely special connection. And that is Martine Halliday, who played Viv in the sitcom. If a certain Sydney stage actor that I approached had taken the role as I initially wanted, I would not have this awe-inspiring woman in my life. Martine is a singer, an actor, a teacher, a producer, a musician, and a collaborator, and one fine friend. Little did I know nearly 3 years ago that I would get to know so well and so lovingly this titan of a human being and human doing. Thank you for your friendship, Martine, your counsel and your connection. It transcends the relationship between actor and writer-director, and I'm so thankful for that. At the end of the day, my parting words are these. Nothing that's good comes easy. There's no such thing as a free ride. And if you want something done, do it yourself. Maybe that last one is not as sagacious as I'd like it to be, but it has been my experience these 3 years creating this quirky retro sitcom, Friends of Dorothy. If you have an idea, explore it. If you have unrequited needs, challenges, aspiration, go for them, go for it. If you have a germ of an idea, develop it. If you have creative urges, indulge them, nurture them, give them form, shape, and a voice, if necessary. Don't have regrets for things you wanted to experience. Life is short. Enrich it. If I've done nothing else here, and I know I have, I've enriched my life. I profoundly want that for all of us. Thank you for listening. Till next time, whenever that may be, au revoir.
There's a place I can go that protects me from the world I know. When life's bad or good, I always feel I'm understood. They are there to always guide me, whether I am right or wrong. They're a crazy bunch of diamonds, and I love that we sing the same song. The best of life is always here, everyone together when we're in top gear. We are laughing loud and strong. This is the place where I belong. As we drift through the years, all the ties that bind us keep us near, whether down the street or far away. I just called to see if you're okay. There's an undertow of drama, at times hidden by the smiles, and I know that we're not perfect, but our love stretches out for miles. I love the chaos, all of the jokes. Whoever talks loudest gets heard the most. When the wind starts blowing strong, this is the place where I belong. Some are not with us anymore, so hold the ones that you adore a little closer. All the photos don't do justice to the fun that we've all had. I know they can be a handful, yes I know they are totally mad. I love the chaos every day, I wouldn't want to have it any other way. The best of life is always here, we climb all the mountains and we persevere. These are my people, loud and strong. This is the place we all
Copyright 2025.